Good morning, everyone. How are you? Mrs. Conlon again. We are going to finish this review packet. Again, I am assuming you got all the way up to number 32. Honestly, without cheating, looked back in your notes if you didn't understand something. I think number 32 was difficult to read. So when we get there, I'll tell you what the numbers were. Sorry about that. So number 23, again, I'm assuming you did this, so I'm going to go through it kind of quickly as I reteach. Number 23, you could have done a few different ways. If you remember earlier in the year in the ebook, we did double line graphs, but then we also did proportions. So remember we talked as the year went on that I gave you different tools to solve your problems. I'm going to choose to solve this by using a proportion. So in this one, we are going to take 30% off the original price, but watch this fancy way I'm going to do it. You didn't have to do it this way, but you still have to come up with the same answer. And I said this language yesterday. If you didn't pay for 30% of the necklace, then you did pay for 70% of the necklace. Okay, so if we paid for 70% of the necklace, right? Because we had 30% off, 70 and 30 make 100% total. We did pay $336 is what we paid, Abby paid. And they're asking what was the original price. So now a strategy that I did earlier in this packet and that we did earlier in the year in the ebook was I could simplify 70 over 100 to 7 over 10, right? And then I can say, how many times does 7 go into 336? And it's 48. I did a little math on the side. So 10 times 48 gives me my total new price of $480. If you did this with a double line graph, double bar graph, you could have gotten it right. If you figured out 30% of 336 and subtracted, you could have also gotten that right. Okay, so going to 24 and 25. So 24, I need to get a common denominator, which is going to be 10. Sorry. So I need to multiply this side by 2 over 2 and this side by 5 over 5. This numerator becomes 12a over 10. This numerator becomes 35, and it's also over 10. My common denominator is 10, and my numerator is a binomial of 12a minus 35. Okay, looking at number 25. My common denominator is going to be a 10y. So I am multiplying this by nothing. I am multiplying this by a 2y. So my numerator is going to become 4y over 10y plus 7 over 10y. Okay, careful. Your denominator goes with this numerator and this numerator, right? I can't be simplifying the y and the 4/10 or else I'm going to come out with 2/5. Right, so keep that in mind because I'm already thinking of a question that you might ask me. I keep my denominator of 10y and I have 4y plus 7. You cannot simplify over here because if you think about it, the 10y applies to this term and to this term. So it would be mathematically to simplify from here. This is your final answer. Okay, 26 was a bit tricky because Really, they're asking you the volume of a rectangular prism. You can ignore this triangular prism on top. I just wanted the first floor. So I could just say that my volume, right, is length times width times height. My volume is 12 times 15 times 5. If you did it in a different order, that's fine. And my final answer is 900 feet cubed. Oops, yeah, I wrote that right. 900 feet cubed, length with height gives you the cubed. Okay, 27. -3 cubed is -3 times -3 times -3, right? -3, -3, -3. That's a +9 times a -3 gives you a -27. Watch that. Okay, watch your signs. And now that is going, because we're following order of operations, don't forget, is going to be a -13. So now combining my debt, and I get -40. I love number 27. It really combines, it really combines exponents, right? Making sure you got that right with negatives, and order of operations with negatives. Okay, moving right along, number 28, going back to earlier in the year in the ebook, when we did fractions with word problems. Of the whole band, 2/5 play the brass. Of the students who play the brass, 4/5 of that play the trumpet. 4/5 of the 2/5 play the trumpet. So that of in there means that I'm going to multiply. Okay, so 8/25 of the whole band, right, play the trumpet. Okay, surface area. I am treating this like a present. I want to wrap this present top, bottom, front, back, side, side. So I'm really going to find the area of all of that and then add it all together. So if I do my top and bottom, I have 4 times 7, right? 4 times 7 is my bottom, times 2 is my top. Plus, if I do my side, that's a 7 times a 5, 7 times 5, and then there are 2 sides. Now if I do my front back, it's a 4 times 5, and I have a front and a back, right? So this all together is 56. This all together is 70. This all together is 40. Add it all together, and I need this much square inches of wrapping paper. So that was a review out of the ebook. Okay, so this combines earlier in the year when we did yards into feet, but then it also combines area. So you can tell this part of the year is really tying a lot together. So I'm going to change this to feet first. This is 21 feet, and this is 15 feet, because there are 3 feet in 1 yard. So my area is going to be 21 times 15. I already did my work on the side to get 315 feet squared. Okay, 31 was tricky. It required some reading here. Okay, notice 96, 24 were regular. I want to know the percentage decaf. So I'm going to subtract and say 72 out of the 96 were decaf. Okay, I want you to try the strategy we learned where you simplify this. Notice I left space in the middle. Simplify this, because I don't know how to get from 96 to 100, and see if you could figure that out to get to 75%. Oh boy, look at number 32. You couldn't even see those numbers. So I wrote the numbers on the bottom. I'm going to change these all now to decimals. Okay, so what do we want? Least to greatest. My smallest out of all of those, there you can see my smallest is, you're going to write it like they wrote it, is 1/4. My next is 39 hundredths. My next smallest is 1/2. And then my largest is 67 hundredths. Make sure you wrote it like they wrote it. So now we have done a total of 32 review questions. Your 7th grade teachers will be expecting that you come in and know how to do those. So use my video to help. Have a great day, guys. Bye.